Queen Averiel of Lysithea was 26 standard cycles old when she learned the cost of careless words. She had ascended the throne early, too early, some said, after her mother's sudden passing. The crown of Lysithea was old, older than most stars mapped by the galactic concord, and it carried with it an unspoken expectation. Queens did not hesitate, did not doubt, and certainly did not apologize. Averiel had taken that lesson to heart. So when the human envoy stood before her court, plain uniform, no jewels, no retinue, she did not see a savior or an ally. She saw an inconvenience. "You call yourself a representative of Earth?" she asked, reclining on her crystalline throne. The court's bioluminescent pillars hummed softly as nobles and admirals watched. A Deathworlder species with a reputation for chaos and brutality. The human did not bristle. He did not even frown. "Yes, Your Majesty," he said calmly. "Commander Elias Rowan, Terran Expeditionary Corps." Averiel flicked her fingers dismissively. "Your people offer assistance, yet you bring only a token fleet and a single envoy. Do humans always overestimate their worth?" A murmur rippled through the court. Elias met her gaze, dark eyes steady. "We offer what we can. No more. No less." The Queen smiled thinly. "Then perhaps you should offer nothing at all. Lysithea does not need savages pretending at diplomacy." The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut. For a moment, Averiel thought she saw something flicker in the human's eyes, hurt, perhaps, or anger. But it passed too quickly to name. Elias Rowan inclined his head. "Very well, Your Majesty," he said. Then he turned and walked away. No protest. No threat. No plea. Just silence. The court erupted as soon as the doors closed behind him. "You insulted him too openly," one advisor hissed. "He is human," another scoffed. "What consequences could there be?" Averiel said nothing. She watched the doors long after Elias had gone, irritation coiling in her chest. Humans were known for volatility. If he was offended, that was his weakness. Or so she told herself. 3 cycles later, the border alarms began to scream. The Carrick's marauders, nomadic raiders infamous for annihilating unprepared worlds, had crossed into Lysithian space. Their ships were crude but terrifyingly effective, their tactics unpredictable, their numbers overwhelming. Averiel convened the War Council as reports poured in. "Outer colonies are falling," an admiral said grimly. "Our fleets are outmatched." "Send distress calls," Averiel ordered. "To everyone." They did. The Concord worlds declined, citing treaties and risk assessments. Trade guilds demanded payment Lysithea could not afford. Even longtime allies hesitated, fearful of the Carrick's reputation. As the hours passed, Averiel's confidence began to crack. "Any response?" she asked quietly. Her aide hesitated. "1." Averiel looked up sharply. "From Earth." The Queen's throat tightened. "Put it through." The hologram shimmered and Elias Rowan appeared. He looked the same as before. Calm. Composed. Unbowed. "Queen Averiel," he said. "We received your distress call." She straightened, pride warring with relief. "Then you will assist us?" Elias paused. "When I stood in your court," he said carefully, "I was dismissed. Insulted. Treated as less than civilized." Averiel's cheeks burned. "I spoke rashly. Yes, Elias replied. You did. Silence stretched between them. Earth will not intervene, he continued, where our presence is unwanted. The words struck harder than any insult. You would let my people die because of wounded pride, she demanded. Elias shook his head. No. We would let them choose. Choice matters to humans. He leaned closer to the projection. Do you want our help, Your Majesty? Averiel swallowed. The court watched. History held its breath. I was wrong, she said at last, her voice low but clear. I judged without understanding. I insulted you and your people. Lysithea needs your help. Elias studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. Then Earth is on its way. The Terrans arrived like a storm. Lysithean sensors struggled to track their fleet as it tore into real space, ships bearing scars, mismatched armor plating, engines pushed far beyond recommended tolerances. They did not form elegant battle lines. They charged. The Carrick's marauders were unprepared for humans who closed distance instead of maintaining it, who boarded enemy ships with ferocious efficiency, who fought even when wounded, adapting to every shift in terrain and tactics. Averiel watched the battle unfold from the command spire, or replacing fear. Human soldiers fought alongside Lysithian defenders on the ground, shielding civilians, rerouting power grids under fire, laughing grimly as they held impossible positions. When a Carrick's dreadship broke through toward the capital, a single Terran cruiser intercepted it, absorbing devastating fire, then ramming straight through its core. The dreadship exploded. The Terran cruiser did not retreat. It kept firing. They're insane, one Lysithian officer whispered. No, Averiel murmured. They're committed. Within 2 cycles, the Carricks were routed. Lysithea still stood. After the victory, Averiel requested a private audience. Elias entered the throne chamber alone. No guards. No weapons visible. The queen descended from her throne and stood before him, not above, not below. I owe you more than thanks, she said. You owe your people honesty, Elias replied gently. That's what matters. She exhaled slowly. When you walked away, I thought you weak. Elias smiled faintly. Walking away without violence is harder for humans than you might think. Averiel met his eyes. Why come back at all? Because your people didn't insult us, he said. You did. And people are more than their rulers. She bowed her head not deeply, but sincerely. I will remember that. Elias returned the gesture. From that day forward, Lysithea changed. Averiel ruled differently, listening more, speaking with care. And whenever Terran ships passed through Lysithian space, they were greeted not with suspicion, but respect. As for the story, it spread across the stars. Of the young queen who learned humility. Of the human who answered an insult with silence and a plea with salvation. And of a Deathworld species that proved true strength was not in domination, but in knowing when to walk away and when to return.